Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first one comes from Ed Matthews. Hey, John and crew. Big fan since the early AMC days. So we all saw the glorious new trailer for Andor yesterday, and I caught two details that caught me by surprise. First was the fact that the premiere will be September 21st instead of August 31st, and the second being it'll have a 3-episode premiere, the biggest Disney Plus series premiere without dropping the entire show. It makes sense to push the show back to give She-Hulk some breathing room after the whole Ms. Marvel Obi-Wan overlap, but what do you think about this uncharacteristic 3-episode premiere?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Ed. And yeah, though we talked about the new Andor trailer yesterday, which is glorious. Like, Ann and I we go on these big long walks in the evening, and we got home, and she goes, I haven't seen that new Andor trailer. I'm like, oh, let's pop it on. She loved it. I mean, it's just incredible. But there were two details in that story that we didn't really talk about, and I'm glad you brought those up. Number one was the move of the release date into later September. Great move. Because the overlap, while it is weird that only one premium Disney show can be running at a time, the overlap of Obi-Wan with Ms. Marvel did not help anybody. I mean, that just didn't work, and it didn't help anybody. And if they can give She-Hulk a little bit more breathing room, then I think that's the way to go. That's probably a good idea. The more interesting thing was they're going to drop 3 episodes at once, which I don't believe is something they've done yet. So it's a really, really good question. Why 3? Now, if it was season 2, I would understand. Because in season 2, every 3 episodes is going to represent a year, but not season 1. All of season 1 is 1 year. So why break it into 3 episodes? Why drop 3 episodes at once? That is a great question, and they answered it. This comes to us from the folks over at Gizmodo who write the following. The first season of Andor will cover approximately a year in Cassian Andor's life as an operative for the rebellion. Itself about 5 years before the events of Rogue One across 12 episodes, which I love that it's going to be a 12-episode season. Its second, however, will use the same amount of episodes to cover 4 years, time jumping ahead every 3 episodes. The scale of the show is so huge, Gilroy told Empire Magazine in a new interview conducted at Star Wars Celebration last month. Directors work in blocks of 3 episodes. So we did 4 blocks in season 1 of 3 episodes each. We looked and said, wow, it'd be really interesting if we come back and we use each block to represent a year going to year 2. But within that is actually the answer about why they're launching this with 3 episodes. They're going to launch this thing with 3 episodes because, and if we can get the camera back up, Jonathan, because, there we go, because you don't want, like, with your first episode, you know the old saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, right? You don't want the first episode to feel like a completely incomplete idea, right? So you want to give a good sense of what this show is in their first viewing experience. And if they really did kind of break this into 4 blocks of 3 episodes each containing kind of its own little storyline and narrative.
That was directed by a single director.
Right, each director, 4 directors directing each of the 3 sets of episodes, then this is a great idea to say, you know what? Let's give the audience a real picture of this show. Let's drop all 3 of those episodes at once to give kind of the first of 4 chapters of this season in there. So, first of all, I like the idea of a show dropping with more than 1 episode, but the idea of them dropping 3, because I think it would have been ridiculous to drop it with 2 or 4. The idea of coming out with 3, that's why they did. I think it's a great idea. Chris, you see what they're doing with this. Is this the right approach, or should they have stretched this out a little bit and just gone individual releases of each individual episode?
You know, it sounds very interesting to have this very, like, tied narrative of those 3 episodes, right? There's going to be a cohesion to that because it's all had the same director. We're going to have a nice through line through that.
By the way, each 3 episodes also changes Skarsgård's hairstyle.
Perfect.
Just wanted to,
that's what I want to make sure is in there. That's very important for me, those wigs, baby. But what I'm concerned about, is that going to lead to a cohesive season, or is it going to feel disjointed? You know, I've been burned before on Star Wars shows, right?
What?
And
Which
a lot
one?
of times, which one? A lot of times it feels like a crap sandwich. The pieces of bread are great, and what's filled in the middle is not done well. We start off strong. We started off great with Obi-Wan, and then we had a bunch of clunk in there, and then we settled pretty fine in the end, right? But I'm really, really hoping that with these 12 episodes, with this idea of really focusing on a character-driven narrative and having all these directors have their own vision for each little bundle here, we get something that really works. But I'm not going to hold my breath, honestly. I'm hoping it's okay. It looks great, but this gives me a little pause.
Rob, you hear this? Like, what do you think about the launch of 3 episodes at once, considering how they're structuring the season?
Well, the writing staff of this show has an incredible pedigree, especially dealing with like spy shows, whether it's The Americans. I mean, Tony Gilroy, amazing. People worked on the Bourne films. This has a really great, in terms of its writing staff, people that know this kind of material. So I would imagine, knowing that they've bought into this structure, I'll bet they've written 4 mini arcs for that first season. So I would imagine with that structure, episode 1, 2, and 3 is act 1, act 2, and act 3 of whatever that arc is.
Right.
So it probably feels very fulfilling. And by the time you get to the end, I would imagine it ends with some kind of great peril, but you feel fulfilled from a storytelling standpoint. So when you watch these 3 episodes, you're going to think to yourself, wow, that was really good, and I can't wait to see what's next. And I think that this unique structure might be the best thing that's happened to a Star Wars show since we've had Star Wars shows on TV. Because I would imagine with Tony Gilroy at the helm, that this is going to be something special from a narrative standpoint, something that we haven't got before.
And I am very curious to see this season 2 idea that every 3 episodes represents a
That
year.
does sound cool.
Yeah,
I really like that.
So lay
That's
the foundation.
season 2, though.
That's
Season 2,
season 2.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Season 2.
Gotta get through season
but lay
1.
the foundation with season 1 with that first year, and then kind of go. It's going to be an interesting structure, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this launching Andor with 3 episodes, understanding that they're kind of broken it into 4 3-episode blocks? Do you like the idea? Do you think they should have just maybe launched with 1? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Peacock's new series, The Resort. In Peacock's must-see new series, there's more than just trouble in paradise. There's a flip phone, a disappearance, and a suspiciously timed hurricane. The Resort, a new Peacock original from the creators of Palm Springs and Mr. Robot, is an unexpected exploration of how love, marriage, and family can be a real trip. When a couple finds an old flip phone in the jungle on an anniversary getaway, they are unknowingly pulled into an unsolved mystery, a bizarre case that went cold 15 years prior when a once-in-a-century storm wiped away all the evidence. This journey through the Mayan Riviera will take you from the edge of your seat to the depths of human experience and back again. Starring William Jackson Harper, Kristen Milioti, Luis Gerardo Mendez, and Nick Offerman, The Resort is streaming now only on Peacock.